Hello, Lisbon, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me, Madalena?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 44th Above and Beyond Hangouts. I'm super happy to be here. My name is Madalena Cardoso, and I'll be your host here today in Porto. And back in Lisbon, we have Zé Maria Archer. How's everything, Zé?
It's great, and we are all ready to hang out, so let's go.
So tell me, what news do you have on the ecosystem? What opportunities, what things do you have to tell us?
Great, thank you. No, so today we'll be talking about engaging with the public sector and how startups and other stakeholders can approach public entities and how this collaboration can help the ecosystem grow. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, I'd like to bring you up to speed on what has been happening in our Portuguese ecosystem. And I'll begin with a fair warning. Spots for our Road to Web Summit program are running out, okay? We'll be preparing and supporting 125 startups for their participation in this year's Web Summit, which will happen from the 10th to the 13th of November here in Lisboa. And as of now, we're no longer accepting growth startups. Those spots have run out. So alpha and beta startups, you better run because spots are flying fast. So get up and apply now through our website. And we know it's still some time away, but just a quick reminder, SIM conference tickets are live and with a very special super early bird discount. It's the best price you can get for SIM conference. 14th and 15th of May 2026, all startup roads will lead to Porto, and you can head on to the website simconf.com and grab your ticket now. In other news, Portugal presides over the D9 Plus ministerial meeting this semester, and Startup Portugal, together with our European partner startup associations, will host the S9 Plus Lisbon conference here in Lisboa in the most beautiful Pavilhão de Portugal. We'll be bringing together founders, associations, and policymakers to align on Europe's digital future. We'll share more news soon, so keep tuned, get involved, and get to know the results of these important meetings. Also, Porto Tech is back for its third edition. From September to November, Porto will host a series of tech and entrepreneurial events, including workshops, conferences, meetups, and others, highlighting the global ecosystem that thrives in the city. Everyone is invited to join, not only by attending the events, but also by proposing events to be included in the official program. Just head over to portotech.scalepporto.pt to find out more. And now, without further delay, let's get on with our warm-up pitches today. I'll let Madalena Cardoso introduce our first startup in Porto. Thank you, Madalena.
Thank you, Zé. So I'll call to the stage Ricardo Moura to pitch Gripwise Tech.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. There you go. So, hi, everyone. My name is Ricardo Moura. I'm co-founder and CEO of Gripwise. Gripwise is a startup that is helping people to have healthy and active aging. And we are beginning doing that through a condition, a very huge condition, which is called physical frailty of the elderly. Physical frailty is a condition that carries high risks for inflammation, loss of muscle mass, loss of physical capacity, and risk of falling and other several conditions. For example, one of them is hip fracture, which is very linked with the physical frailty. And the prognosis for someone that has a hip fracture, for example, is 20% of death in a 1 year time. And 50% of the survivors usually only have some physical dependency after this. And the problem is that this is very huge because we are talking of 50% of the elderly, so it can affect 90 million people only in Europe, and it already costs more than 350 billion euros a year in the EU healthcare systems. But the thing is, the healthcare professionals traditionally don't assess this kind of condition because preventive assessment, everyone says about it, but it's not being in place. And what we see is that when the assessment is done by very qualified healthcare professionals, it's done at the late stage in geriatric consultation, for example. So the only way to mitigate this and even revert it is at the beginning of the condition. So that's why we created a solution, which is Gripwise. So it's a medical device that connects with a cloud platform, which allows the assessment of physical frailty, sarcopenia, and the risk of falling in less than 5 minutes, and even by less skilled professionals. Our system goes for the assessment. It's a hardware that connects via Bluetooth. So we have a smart load cell that can attach different accessories. It's lighter and smart and smaller than the traditional devices. And it's easy to use using our software. So it's kind of easy to use the workflows. So people with less skills, not highly professionalized, like the traditional geriatric doctors, it's possible to do this assessment. And since it has different accessories, it can apply for different muscular groups. And our business model goes for the hardware selling, in addition to a SaaS platform in which we want to monetize through monitoring features in the future. And we have found already potential 2 million SaaS professional users. Since the inception in 2020, we have already been recognized by several partners in terms nationally and internationally. And we are a spin-off of the University of Porto, so everything began even previously with the recognitions from Fresenius Kabi, but we have already received commercial interest from several other partners like health partners and even insurance companies. And we have already granted more than 1 million euros in grants and 500,000 from business angels. And our traction for now, we have sold 80 units of our MVP version. And we have now been making integrations with software players that are already in the market. And we have already some distributors, and we are making um, partnerships with POCs, for example, with healthcare professionals, institutions, and also with the insurance companies. Our team is very experienced and has a lot of years in this area, and we are looking for 250K in order to help us to grab additionally 300K that are already secured on a grant. And obviously this will give us some runway that goes from 12 months to 15 in order to make the final clinical validations that we have in place, which are 6, and beginning commercial sales through distributors and also online. The market is changing. We see it every day. So everyone knows that the health span is growing. However, healthy span is not. So what we see is that healthcare systems are going worse and having issues with sustainability. Preventive is the way to go. So we are open to have someone like you to help us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ricardo. If you have any questions for Ricardo, just find him in the end in our networking moment. And now to pitch here in Lisboa, please welcome Bárbara Tavares to pitch Empresta Aí.
Hi everyone, so my name is Bárbara and this is Empresta Aí, the first platform in Portugal that centralizes every possible item to rent in one single digital space. So I believe you all faced situations like you need a tool just for a small repair, or you want to invest in some sport but you don't want to invest in the equipment, or even you want to do a party, you want to inflatable for your kids, but you are able to find anything nearby. So in an unstable economic scenario, people often buy things, but the renting it's more flexible and more practical. The thing is, it's not that easy to find products online because they're all spread all over several platforms, and it's not easy to find them because they are specialized in some categories. So here enters Empresta Aí. It's a peer-to-peer marketplace platform when anyone can rent, list their items to rent, or search for those items. Our mission is simple: to connect people who want several products temporarily with those who already have them available for rent. Our business model is a 10% commission per transaction on rented items, and also some extra features for those who want greater visibility in the app. The traction, so the more users, the greater the supply on the platform, so the more our contribution to the rental market. Also, no stocks, no physical stores, and scalable to any city or country. We already validated our business model in Portugal. So what we did is to match the existing supply with real demand. Just in the last month, we mediated over 100 rentals. We did partnerships with many companies, and also we did partnerships with universities and attended many events. We want to release the website in November while we continuously testing it with our teams and partners. So here are some of the brands that already work with us. So we differentiate ourselves by combining B2C and B2B strategy. We see clear advantage in working with these companies because they are specialized in some field of renting, and also because we want to give visibility to Portuguese companies in our hub. So the team is composed by myself. I have a background in economics and also a bachelor degree in environmental and sustainability studies, so you can see why this project is so meaningful to me, because it's all about circular economy. We also have André, that is specialized in continuous improvement processes, in lean management and lean people leadership. João and Philippe are currently developing our website and app, and alongside with us, we have many students that are supporting our work in the different fields. So here are some of the competitions and events that we participated in this year. And here are some of the products that people often ask us for in our social media and also in our formulary that we have available online. Our strategy for the next year is to fulfill the increasing demand on specific and strategic sectors like the tourism, accommodations, and leisure areas. So I hope you're excited to try our app, and in the meanwhile, if you want to rent something or you have something to rent out, you already know who to talk to. Follow us on social media. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you have any questions about Empresta aí, please find the team afterwards in our networking moments. And now let's move on to the panel discussion. Let's talk about engaging with the public sector. Here in Lisbon, we'll have Mafalda Nunes, Head of Finance and Administration at Startup Portugal, and Miguel Aguiar, Executive Director at Startup Portugal. And what about in Porto, Madalena?
So here we'll have Susana Pinto, Head of the Department of Economics from Câmara Municipal do Porto. A round of applause. And our very own Manel Pestana Machado, our Head of Community and Communications.
Okay, so hello everyone. You hearing me well there in Lisbon?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes? Okay, and I can hear you. Amazing. So this is for me a very special hangout, not only because for Miguel Aguiar, our new executive director, is here for the first time, but also because we have here Susana Pinto from the Porto municipality, one of the people that I've been get to know in this past year that I've been working in Startup Portugal that can speak the most about how to engage with the public sector. But also we have Mafalda Nunes, which sometimes is one of the faces of Startup Portugal that no one knows, but allows for everything to work. So, and let's start also to introduce me. I'm Manuel Pestana Machado. I'm the Head of Community and Communications at Startup Portugal. Why am I moderating this panel? Because previously to being at Startup Portugal, I worked as the legal advisor at the Cultural Strategy Planning and Assessment Bureau for the Ministry of Culture. So I am a civil servant. I know how things get done, and I know how difficult it is sometimes, but I'm a person that is on the other side, and I also read a lot of inquiries that were made to my bureau, asking, can you help me? I just trying to get some funding. I'm trying to apply for something. At the same time, Mafalda, coming back to you, before she was our head of finance and administration, she was the head of retail and public debt at the Portuguese Treasury and Debt Management Agency. If you do not know this entity, it's one of the main entities in Portugal that allow people to get funds from the government and also invest directly. How do we say that, Mafalda, the word, the public tenders? I'm saying it correctly?
I didn't understand. Public tenders?
Yes,
It's public tenders.
Yes, it's public tenders, yes.
the public tenders. So Mafalda knows them a lot. Coming to Susanna, before she was the head of Department of Economics at the Porto Municipality, she worked with CCDR North. So you know how difficult this is for some founders or some investors to try to approach the state or the government or the public sector from a local point of view, correct?
Yes, yes. But I think the most relevant role it is my current one because I have the opportunity to deal and to engage with founders, with entrepreneurs, and to see right in front of me the difficulties they face and the ideas that they have to improve our role in all of this.
Of these things that we try to do and to demystify what it is possible to achieve working with the public sector. And coming back to our most recent acquisition, Miguel. Miguel has a corporate perspective, but I think you can also introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay.
Because
Okay, so I'm Miguel. I have more than 20 years experience in the private sector, either in the purchases department, but also in the sales department, selling to private and to public entities. In the last 1.5 years, I was advisor for the Secretary of State of Economy, so I have that also in my resume to how I see the public sector working, and not all, but some of the difficulties that the communication between startups and the public sector occur, and I have a view on that as well. So, Manel, back to you.
words, we're making the public policies that now are being put to use.
Some of them, yeah. Hope that some of these startups will gain from them. I hope so. That's what we tried to do when I was there. So help startups and help Startup Portugal to increase the engagement with startups and for them to be very well established here and with the growth objectives to have.
And so with this is the purpose of this Hangout, is to show not only that we have in-house the talent to help anyone that tries to approach the government, the public sector, any public entity to work with, but also to show, as I was saying, that it's not difficult. It is just complex. And it can be too bureaucratic at some times. I think the three of you will agree with me. I will come to the questions for you to develop on that. But it is possible. At the end of this conversation, I think the main goal is for everyone here listening to this to know that, yes, it is possible. Working with the Portuguese government, working with Portugal as a country, working with the European Union, it's not impossible. It's just a thing that has rules, and it has to have rules. So this is what this conversation will be about, to know what that public entities are also key players as funders, regulators, and clients. And at the same time, there are innovative solutions that can have a special part in the construction of what we're doing here that needs startups and investors and everyone in the ecosystem to be done. So the public sector needs the private sector to work. with this first question. I think I already talked too much. For many startups, public institutions feel complex or distant. From your own experience inside government, what is the biggest misconception that startups tend to have about working with the public sector? Miguel, this question obviously is for you.
For me, okay.
Yes.
I think that the biggest misconception about the public sector is that we the other side is there to turn our lives harder, but it's not that. Okay. The thing is, as Manuel is saying, there's a lot of complexities behind it. There's a lot of demands either from the European Union or bureaucratic things that needs to be done. Of course, that not always the person that is in front of us is the easiest one, but I believe that from what I saw when I was in the government, there are a lot, and I mean a lot of people that are there to help, to build, to respond, and sometimes it's not on the first try, and I can admit that, but it's not easy for a startup that typically has very few number of persons to deal with a huge machine that is the public sector. And it's sometimes frustrating to have to say several times the same thing. It's a fact, but when you find the right person, when you find the right, for instance, Startup Portugal has the one-stop shop. Francisca here is the head, the person that's in front of the one-stop shop, and Francisca does everything in her hands to respond to the questions that the startups, the investors, whoever comes, to answer them and to direct them to the right person. So we have that. YAPME has that. There are other entities that have that. We just need to use it and to take the max out of it.
I think I could not put in better words, and especially we already talked about One Stop Shop, which is one of our projects that helps anyone that needs to know and wants to know more about how everything works can enter this ecosystem. And this question I'm going to ask to all of you. I'm going to start with you, Susanna. Why should startups consider public entities not just as regulators, but also as funders and clients?
Public entities can really be good partners. We all face in our daily lives a great diversity of societal challenges, and we need innovation to better for better solutions, and startups can be those partners for a municipality, for different public entities. And at the same time, there is space for startups to test and to scale their services, their products. So it's a win-win situation, and they can also reduce the risk when working with a public entity. And when a startup secure, for example, a contract with a public entity, it's an opportunity to enter new markets and to find another opportunities.
Also because of the experience, correct? Because when a startup starts to work with the public sector, she gains experience, it gains experience, and it's better to apply for other public consultations.
Exactly.
Mafalda, do you also think this?
Yes, I believe that is if I understood well the question about the collaboration of public sector and the startups, the public sector has made already a huge improvement in this, and I think there is a room for more improvement. But it's what we've been saying here. It's only a matter of going to the right place and speaking to the right person and pay attention of all the requirements and everything. I know it looks scary at the beginning, but in the end, it's not that difficult. And I think that you always find people in the different public sectors to help you and provide you all the correct information.
Mafalda, also for you, from your perspective, what makes a startup stand out as a credible partner for a public entity?
A startup is as a credible entity as any other company, as long as they have their legal documents duly updated, namely non-debt certificates and the criminal records of the entity and also for their managers. And for instance, for any public procurement procedure, that's all it takes if they have all these documents duly updated to compete with any other entity in the market.
Does this mean that a startup needs to have a legal advisor when trying to speak with the public sector? Or that's just an answer?
It's always helpful to have a legal advisor, always helpful.
Either on the public or the private sector? Both?
Well, for both,
yeah?
Yes. But if a startup in their early stage cannot afford to have a legal advisor, at least a friend that knows someone that has legal knowledge that can help, I think it's very, very useful on the first engagement with the public sector, for instance, for public procurement. It's very useful.
Thank you. And continuing with this, Miguel, what incentives and support mechanisms are already available for founders today that are being fully used? Let's not try to focus on the ones that need to be improved.
Yeah. I think we have. Let me just go back a little bit and try to complement the answer, the previous answer, because one of the advice that I'd give would not. Of course, you can have a lawyer, of course, but I think the biggest advice is read the small letters. Okay, read the small letters when you're applying to something. When you and I mean it in the, I'm talking about the public sector, of course, in the private sector, but in the public sector, when you're applying to a fund, when you're applying to a voucher, read the letters, read all the things that the warning is giving you, because what we've been feeling is that a lot of the rejections of the vouchers, or vouchers is an example, is because the people that submitted the request didn't read all the letters. So I think that's one of the biggest advice that I can give you before applying, before talking with the public sector. Going back to your questions, what are the can you repeat the question? Sorry, was which incentives that we have, right?
Incentives and mechanisms that are being fully used and that are available for founders.
Okay. I think one of the biggest that we have is one-stop shop. I think one-stop shop is very useful because you have in one place one beautiful person that is right here, all the answers. It may not come in the first place, but she will go and grab the answer afterwards and get back to you. But we also have, of course, the EFC, if you want to bring somebody that's abroad to come, either Portuguese or foreign, to come to work here. If the talent that you are looking for it's more than I don't know by heart, but some years abroad, they can come here with bigger tax advantages. You have a startup visa that's also in place. That's something that can help you. You have IAPME, you have ICEP. If you want to go to make some, if you want to have the knowledge of something that's happening in other countries. So there's a lot of help that's in place provided by the public sector for everybody. So I think, I don't know if I answered your question, but I think...
You complemented it a lot, and I think about complementing Susanna can help also, because from the municipality point of view, there's also a lot of tools that are available.
For example, not directly, for example, in the website of Scale Up Porto, which is the unit that supports the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in the city. But for example, in Invest Porto's website, we have an incentives guide that concentrates all the information that we find that might be useful for companies in general, but also for startups, because we have filters, and I think you can find also useful information or useful links for example, to startup, Portugal page, YAPME's page. It's there, and it directs users to the right place. And of course, we are also available, and Scale Up Porto's team can easily be reached out by email to answer your questions. And we are always, or we try always to be present in this type of initiatives, and in more informal contexts. Sometimes it's easier to connect, and you can always talk to us and ask your questions directly. If we don't know the answer in the moment, we will try to find it later, or to find the right person to help you with your doubts.
That's one of the things that the public sector does. It's already 4 years, and if you may, all of you may add this. One of the misconceptions that is that when you're talking with a public administration, with any entity, is that no one will answer. Okay, probably the first email when you do not put the subject or anything. I know that this is like the easiest tip that you can give. Insist. But if you insist, there are answers, and there are people on the other side that will answer you. And that's what we were saying, correct, Susanna?
Yeah.
And there's a very big effort from all of your team to try to answer. And we see that in all municipalities all over the country.
Yes. And the many cities and regions even have their innovation and their dedicated teams to this subject, to innovation, to entrepreneurship. And you just have to find the right person, because their role is precisely to bridge the gap between entrepreneurs, public entities, and other stakeholders, because we can also reach out to other partners and put everyone in contact. That's our main job. We are facilitators.
And it's our goal. That's why we are public servants at the end of the day. Miguel, coming back to you, of course, we are here and we are saying a lot of good things. You can try to speak with the public sector and you're going to get an answer. Sometimes that does not happen. And where do you see gaps, areas where public policies could be more founder-friendly?
Yeah, I think Portugal has the startup law that's... Okay, yeah, okay. It has... Yeah. Feedback, okay. Sorry. Portugal has already the startup law, which is a very distinctive thing in Europe, in the Europe sector. Of course, that it needs, because times evolve and we need to make adjustments. We are looking at it in order to see if it's possible to make those adjustments, if it's possible to improve it, if it's possible to make add-ons to the startup law. But one thing that I think needs to be understood, that the startups need to be engaged, need to provide the public sector, or in this case the government, with ideas, with some measures that you think that could be in place to help the day-to-day lives of the startups here in Portugal. Of course, there's always things to improve. There's always new things that can be done. But remember that governments, although they have a lot of institutions behind them, in the end of the day, a ministry has, I don't know, 3 or ever 4 Secretary of States, and these Secretary of States have 4 or 5 advisors. Of course, they need to be in touch with all of their stakeholders, but no one knows better than the ones that are suffering on a day-to-day basis what needs to be done, what can help, what measures can be put in place. So I think what I wanted to say is bring those ideas. We have Startup Portugal here. We have a close connection with the government, with the Ministry of Economy, that has the umbrella of everything regarding startups. Of course, that we do not promise that everything is going to be done, but we are here to be your voice. Okay? I just talked the other day with some of you that was trying to show me that it's urgent, some measures for the internationalization of companies, and how companies, startups in this case, need help to go abroad. Okay? That's something that I registered, and I'm now trying internally to see what needs to be done, how it can be done. But keep us posted, okay? Keep us notified, give us ideas, not just problems, because if you bring a problem, it's another problem. So bring us solutions. And that's what you do on your day-to-day lives, is bringing solutions to the problems that you already knew. Now, bring us also solutions for other problems that you have, but can be helped by the public sector.
Thank you, Miguel. And speaking about solutions, Mafalda, you were speaking before about the necessity that founders or anyone that is engaging with the public sector needs is to have their papers in order. How can a founder, an investor, but especially a founder, because normally we are speaking about people that do not have this kind of experience engaging with these public entities, keep track of the different frameworks and opportunities, given how fragmented the information often is? What advice do you have?
Well, it depends on the different sectors of their activity, but I believe, as I said previously, that each public sector has their own, let's say, one-stop shop, or at least they are trying to implement it. For IAPMEI, they have their own direct line for this kind of questions. I believe for ICEP, they also have a specific attendance line. And I think that it's the way that the public sector is evolving. Social security is one of the examples that evolved a lot in the past years. They have in 5 minutes you can access, for instance, IRN website and take your criminal record in 5 minutes online, just in front of your computer. So I think it's very easy. And as Miguel said previously, not only accessing public funds, but also applying in the public procurement procedures. It's a matter of paying attention, of reading carefully, of filling up the specific fields with the correct information, because sometimes not putting the correct information or not signing correctly the documents, it's enough for you to be excluded or be not admitted to a fund.
And the thing is, there's no,
For-
let me just say that there's no turning back. Okay, unfortunately, that's the rule of the game. So it's one of the in order to avoid corruption or other kinds of work around the laws. What is in place is things like if you don't put the right answer in the right place, you're excluded. That's why I insist on this point. Please be careful responding either to procurement, to searching funds, whatever. Okay, so that's a lot of what we've been seeing that's happening.
And but fortunately, there's a lot of literacy that can be gained. And from the municipality's point of view, do you also feel the same, Susanna?
Yes, of course. I think there's also an opportunity in this regard with AI because with AI, it can be more easy for a founder to find the relevant information for him or for her. And since the information is scattered among different websites, different entities, it should be worked differently, and with these tools that we have available now, so it's more easier for everyone to find the right incentive for them.
So if there's a startup over there or some founder that is an ad to sell to the public sector, now it's the moment. I think everyone is pitching that at this point. We saw the first pitches. But coming to the last questions, and this is going to be to all of you. Collaboration. So I was saying do pitches to public entities, do pitches to the public sector. But how can collaboration, for example, with municipalities and startups become more agile and mutually beneficial?
I think I already touched briefly on that. Municipalities, for example, can provide more challenged oriented competitions, so startups can apply and show their ideas, their solutions, and also opportunities for pilots.
Like sandboxes, for example.
Yes, precisely. Yes, because once again, it's an opportunity to test, and then, okay, it works. Let's scale.
And are you doing this, Miguel, from your experience with the government?
Yeah, I think it's although the process is harder, the main characteristics are the same as the private sector. If you find a solution for a problem, of course that you're going to go through the desert in order to can sell it to the public sector. If the answer is there, the public sector will buy. I remember NOC services when the pandemic arrived. NOC started to increase the number of telemedicine consultations that were made, and that was a necessity. They have the answer, and both of them connected, and it helped both. And like this, many others. I don't know. I know I'm talking about unicorn, but OutSystem sells a lot to private sectors, to public entities. So if the solution is there, if the value is there, and if it helps to solve a problem that's on the and that in the limit can be not created, but pointed out by the startup, saying, you don't know that you have this problem, but I can solve it to you. I can help you reduce your costs. I can help you reduce a process. I don't know, but you can work with the entity and try to find together the way. Because if the entity finds value in it, they will surely find a way to overcome the problem that they have. Of course, that for the answer you're going to compete with others, but you will be on the forefront because you know the problem was something that you identified. So, yeah, I think in the end it's a harder process, but it's the same method. Find the problem, solve the problem, propose, and afterwards that's a bigger road, but that's what it is. It's hard to cancel that road in the last mile of public consultation. That's not going to happen. That's the end of it. It's not going to happen. So that's something that every company needs to live with, either startups or a bigger company.
And to help with this, and I think I could ask you a lot of questions, but my questions is the ones that I shared briefly with you. We want to hear from you. So now we open this Q&A. There's a microphone there. I think Madalena and Jose can help me. If someone wants to ask a question, now also it's the time, and we want to know more about the difficulties you have, and maybe I'm going to ask Miguel or Mafalda or Susanna. I'm going to say who is the best
Manuel
one.
will be glad to answer all your questions.
All
Manuel will
Yes,
answer.
I can try to pretend. So I'm not seeing.
No, we
oh,
have
there's
a
one.
question here.
Thank you. Hi.
All right. Thank you, guys. First of all, my name is João Santos. I'm the CEO and founder of Learning Hubs. 2 days ago, I went to start up Portugal in Pavilion, so it's great to be here. First of all, this is a really good initiative because the public sector is a big purchaser in Portugal, the biggest one. My company has done a lot of business with the public, so Banco Portugal, Municipality of Lisbon, Turismo Portugal. It's very good customers. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Even the bureaucratic process, well, they send the contracts, they send everything. The only thing is you have to sign a lot of stuff. You should have your criminal register clean, paying the taxes, etc. Everything clean, and you have to have a proper company. And even answering sometimes a lot of stuff that we have to answer today with AI is beautiful. So you just with the help of AI, you can write a lot of the proposal and explanations, etc. So really, I think the public sector is fundamental for startups because we have to do business to exist, and Portugal is our low-hanging fruit. And so the Portuguese companies and the public sector is very important. And I find the people on the public sector with a lot of goodwill towards the startups. They want to work and help the startups. What's the most difficult part? So, for example, my company, we are an upskilling platform for medium-sized and large organizations, and I want to be proactive. We have to be proactive. With whom should we engage? And that's sometimes the difficult part. So, for example, in municipality, should I send an email explaining, well, we solved this problem for upskilling your people? Should I send to the president, to the vereadores, to the head of the HR department. Well, in the state, should I send to the minister, to the secretary de Estado, to the assessors, to the advisors, or to the diretor-geral? So, how should we be proactive, and who should we approach? Should we go to networking events in the public sector, which I don't know where they happen? So that is my question. It's a very practical question. Who should we approach to say, well, we are a startup, we have this solution for this problem, I believe you have this problem, we'd like to present ourselves to your organization and be on your radar. So that's the question. And again, congratulations for this initiative.
Okay. Do you want me to start, Manuel?
Maybe I'm going to do, because yesterday I was talking about this with Mafalda, exactly this. This question.
No, but I think I think it's up to Miguel to be the right person to answer, because of what we've been discussing here. It's the one-stop shop for the government. That would be useful for this. But anyway.
Yeah, but let me just, first of all, thank you for your comments and for the, how do you say, good vibes for the rest of the startups in order to interact with the public sector. But I think what would I do I would search my network in order to find the person who has the pain, because that's going to be your biggest ally inside of the company that you want, either company, public sector. I don't believe it's going to be on the if you send it to the highest person, it's going to be one more person. Okay, just to be clear and to be honest. So. Trying to talk with everybody, trying to find the person that has, or the group of persons that have the pain, and go from there. And they will help you going to, starting to arrange how they're going to solve the issue, because it's going to be your biggest ally. Okay. But that's my opinion.
Yes, going to the specific departments that you can solve.
In Porto, in case you find it difficult to go for that path, you can always reach out to Scale Up Porto, and we should have like a first meeting to understand your ideas, and then we will redirect you to the right department. And it's different when the information comes from our side. Comparing to when it's just an email or something like this.
Yeah, but generally, there's in each public entity not a common email, but a common contact that does this work of sending the email to the right department. So that, I think, coming back to the part, I think cease, because if the first email is not correct, it's not trying to find the other person to send it to, it's to send it again. But we have another question here in Porto. And thank you to all of you.
Hello, so my name is Kanehiro. So just like a random visitor from Japan. Also, I'm in the startup community in Japan, especially in Tokyo. So that's I found this event and then try to seek. But my question is that, as you mentioned, there are many opportunities for the startup side to work with public sector. But the one question hitting me is that how much public sectors, they do understand the existence of startups, because normally I think the steps will be there will be the problem or issues from the public sector or any infrastructure or anything. You will make the problem and then make a tender asking the companies to apply. Then startups and even SMEs or large corporates, they can, they're equal to apply, and then if they win tender, win the bid, they will do the project. I think it's similar, and in Japan it's similar. But the problem is that the first one is that the public sector, they don't really understand the startups. They don't understand startups product. So they normally say, okay, make a tender, and then they make all those the regulations. It will be a little bit difficult for startups to apply, and also especially they don't really know about there is a tender systems, they can use it. Especially in Japan, we have like a bunch of like opportunities, but not everyone know it. only the people who knows about that, they can pride and they can win. But so that is why back to my question is that how much the public sectors, they open to the information, they really understanding their startups, their new technologies, new solutions. Maybe they can collaborate with them. Otherwise, I think those issues will be not open that much to the startup side. Sorry, just my question, because I'm first time to come to Portugal, and then yeah, that is why maybe my question is quite silly. But when I comparing to the Japanese situations, yeah, that was my question.
No, first of all, thank you and welcome. You've been here for how long?
That was my Saturday, and tomorrow I have to go to Paris to talk to my business partner.
So you're starting to engage with the European Union public sector, correct? You do not yet find all of the hurdles that you're find in Japan.
In Japan, yes, I already got several tenders, and then I actually working with the one French startup, bringing their businesses to Japan and doing in Tokyo. But yes, I sometimes work with the government side, and then also we work with some like Japanese government project. But now the Japan, they are trying to change the government level or the province levels. They are trying to do something like the crop open innovation program or something like that to work with startups, try to connect their local companies or local startups, or even try to welcome international startups to their cities or their places, or try to export their local startups to the outside. But yeah, somehow, yes, I do some work not that much, not a professional level, but yes, I do some project as well.
Not that much yet. But as Miguel, Mafalda, or Susanna, do you want to start with this?
Yeah. Yeah, I can start. I think there are two main answers for that, because you're either talking about startups that are already in place and are selling a product or service, or you are talking about open innovation, and these have two different answers. If you're selling a product or service, it's the same thing. It's like you have to compete with the other companies that offer a solution to the problem that's been that the company or the public company put it in place. And what needs to be done is to have more visibility of the company. So you need, if you're competing with an established company, you need to have a little bit more effort in order to put your name on the ground and for everybody to know what you do and that you answer this specific issue. On the other hand, a different thing is if you're talking about open innovation. Because if you're talking about open innovation, in Portugal, we don't have yet an answer to that. And we are still in the public sector. Let me just correct this. We have an answer, but it's not yet very used by the public sector. The public sector is used to buy things in a waterfall scheme, right? If you're talking about the project, it's waterfall that they are used to, not that much on an agile process. And that, it's an issue, it's identified. We have the ANI, Agência Nacional de Inovação, looking at it as well, because they care much about this problem, and it's trying to find solutions for this. There is a big difference between the private and the public sector. The private sector is already used to agile processes that can help overcome their problems. The public sector, because of all those belts and legal requirements, and in order to see what needs to be done in each time for each value, are not there yet. But we are looking into it and and making proposals to overcome this.
Miguel, if you want to add something, Susanna? Because I think that after this, the best thing for us to do is networking and ask these questions in person, whether in Lisbon or in Porto. But first of all, I would like to ask for a round of applause to all these panelists, Susanna, Miguel, and Mafalda. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you here, and thank you for answering all of these. I think we have some last words, correct, Madalena?
So thank you very much for this great panel discussion. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them up in the networking. But before that, please don't forget that our program, Road to Web Summit, is still on. We have very few slots left. So for growth startups, unfortunately, no slots left. But if you're an alpha or beta startup, we still have place for you, but make sure to run to our website. But before we close to the networking, Zé Maria, who do we have to thank for these amazing Hangouts?
Yes, Madalena, we have a lot of a lot of entities to thank to, and so I'd like to applaud as I say the names. So let's thank Investors Portugal, and Ferroviário, our venue here, 351 Portuguese Startup Community, UPTEC there in Porto, and Porto City Council, of course, Sograp, and Superboc Group. It was a pleasure to be your host this evening, and thank you, Madalena, for running the show in Porto. And don't forget, we'll see each other again on October 29th for another Hangout. Subscribe to our newsletter, and see you again next month. So here in Lisbon, let's head upstairs to grab a drink and connect. Thank you.
Bye-bye.